Good morning. This is XPulse AI Morning Mix. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. We're talking OpenAI backing a viral agent project, India's big compute push and agent-led payments, and a few enterprise moves you'll actually feel at work. I've got Orion with me. Ready?
Ready, let's move.
Reuters reported on February 15th that Peter Steinberger, the creator of OpenClaw, is joining OpenAI, and OpenClaw is moving into an open-source foundation supported by OpenAI. What exactly changed here?
Two things, talent and governance. Steinberger is going to OpenAI to help build the next generation of personal agents, per Sam Altman. And OpenClaw stays open source, but gets a foundation model, meaning steadier funding, clearer stewardship, and more engineering support without turning into a closed product.
OpenClaw also had some spicy security chatter. Does this calm people down or crank it up?
A bit of both. Foundations can formalize security review, releases, and responsible defaults. Good, but more attention plus faster shipping can raise the stakes. If OpenAI pushes agent capability forward, people will scrutinize permissioning, sandboxing, and how Moltbook-style experiments touch real accounts and data.
If you're a team building with agents, what should you watch for?
Watch the guardrails, least privilege permissions, auditable action logs, and safer tool calling patterns. Also, whether the foundation standardizes connectors. The dream is agents you can trust. The nightmare is autopilot with your corporate card.
Associated Press reported on February 16th that India's IT minister outlined a multi-front push for domestic AI compute. Data center investment estimates up to $200 billion, plus tens of thousands more GPUs via the IndiaAI portal. What's the signal?
India is trying to make compute a national utility, available, shared, and locally anchored. The tens of thousands of GPUs detail matters because it's not just aspiration, it implies procurement, hosting, power, and scheduling. It also tells global vendors, show up with supply, financing, and operations muscle.
How does a shared portal approach change the market versus everyone buying their own clusters?
It can lower the barrier to entry. More labs and mid-sized companies can run serious training and inference without a giant capital outlay. But it puts pressure on allocation rules, pricing, and reliability. If the queue is long, people will still flee to private clouds.
What's the one constraint nobody can handwave away?
Power and cooling. You can't prompt your way out of megawatts. The winners will be whoever can secure energy, build quickly, and keep utilization high.
From Mastercard's newsroom today, February 17th, at the India AI Impact Summit in New Delhi, Mastercard demonstrated what it called India's first fully authenticated agentic commerce transaction, an AI agent that searched, selected, and completed a purchase. What did they actually demo?
A live end-to-end purchase where an agent didn't just recommend, it paid. Mastercard says it used tokenized, authenticated credentials across the payment chain, issuer, acquirer, and payment aggregators. The demo used cards issued by Axis Bank and RBL, with aggregators like CashFree, JustPay, PayU, and RazorPay, plus merchants like Swiggy Instamart and Zepto.
When they say fully authenticated, what's the practical meaning?
It means the agent can initiate a transaction without bypassing the usual trust steps. Identity, tokenization, and authorization flows still happen. The goal is agent autonomy, but with the payment network's controls intact. Mastercard is framing this as part of its agentic commerce framework and agent pay work.
So are we heading toward bots shopping at scale?
Yes, and the internet will need a new layer of bot manners. Expect explicit spending policies, receipts that are machine-readable, and dispute workflows designed for agent actions. Also, prepare for the first time an agent impulse buys something at 2 a.m.
On February 16th, Blackstone announced definitive agreements to commit up to $1.2 billion to an India-based AI cloud platform called Neysa, about $600 million of equity and roughly $600 million of planned debt. Orion, what's the news in plain terms?
Neysa is getting a big war chest to buy and run GPUs. They're planning to deploy over 20,000 GPUs across India, aimed at enterprise and public sector AI workloads. It's a classic neo-cloud play. Specialize in accelerators, offer faster access, and compete on performance and availability.
For listeners who haven't heard of Neysa, what do they do quickly?
They're an AI infrastructure provider, GPU capacity, managed stacks, and enterprise-grade deployment support. Think cloud for AI workloads with a local footprint, especially useful where data residency, latency, or procurement rules push companies toward in-country compute.
How does this interact with India's broader compute push we just talked about?
It's complementary and competitive. Public shared capacity helps widen access, while private platforms like Neysa can move faster and offer stronger service level guarantees. If India's demand curve keeps rising, there's room for both, assuming power and chip supply cooperate.
And if supply doesn't cooperate?
Then capacity becomes the product. In that world, who has GPUs matters more than who has the best marketing site.
PR Newswire carried Infosys' announcement today, February 17th, a strategic collaboration with Anthropic to build enterprise AI solutions for regulated industries, combining Infosys Topaz with Claude. What stands out?
It's a distribution and integration story. Infosys already sits inside telecom and financial services workflows. Pair that with Claude, and you get agentic systems aimed at complex, audited processes, not just chat. They're also setting up a dedicated Anthropic Center of Excellence in telecom.
They also mentioned Claude Code inside Infosys Engineering. Is that bigger than it sounds?
Often, yes. Internal rollouts can create repeatable patterns, security reviews, coding standards, evaluation harnesses that later become client offerings. If a services firm operationalizes coding agents safely, that becomes a template for regulated customers who can't tolerate move fast and break compliance.
Net effect. Does this push the market toward AI agents as a managed service?
Exactly. Enterprises rarely want a DIY science project. They want outcomes, controls, and someone to call at 3 a.m. when the agent tries to be creative.
Business Insider covered a long interview published February 16th. Anthropic Chief Executive Dario Amodei speaking with Dwarkesh Patel about timelines, compute, and spending risk. Plus that line about a country of geniuses in a data center within a few years. What was he really saying?
He's arguing capability could jump fast, but financing that future is treacherous. If you build gigantic data center commitments assuming revenue arrives on schedule, being wrong by even 1 year can be fatal. It's a caution against treating compute spend as a one-way door.
Did he get into safety versus commercial pressure?
Yes, he framed it as constant tension, strong safety commitments, but also competitive realities. He also touched geopolitics, like advanced chip restrictions, and how that reshapes where models can be trained and who can scale.
So, when leaders say we're scaling, what should listeners mentally translate that to?
Translate it to, we're placing a time-sensitive bet. In this phase, strategy is as much about timing and capital discipline as it is about model quality.
A few more moves worth knowing. First, Anthropic is expanding in India. What did they announce?
On February 16th, Anthropic's official blog announced a Bengaluru office named Irina Ghose to lead India operations and said India is now its second largest market for Claude usage, plus partnerships across enterprise, education, and agriculture.
Staying with infrastructure in India, AMD and Tata Consultancy Services had a rack-scale announcement, right?
Yes, AMD's February 16th press release says AMD and TCS will co-develop and deploy the Helios rack-scale AI architecture in India, a data center blueprint up to 200 megawatts, using AMD Instinct MI 455X accelerators, next-gen EPYC Venice CPUs, and Pensando Volcano networking.
On the enterprise workflow side, I saw Miro pop up.
Business Wire on February 17th, and Dava says it will deploy Miro's AI innovation workspace across its Dava flow delivery model for about 12,000 employees, aiming to speed decisions and automate multi-step collaboration flows, plus a joint go-to-market motion.
Meanwhile, compute geography keeps getting interesting, and Google did a small app refresh. Give us the quick version.
Semaphore on February 16th. Luma AI says it's shifting some compute to Saudi facilities after approvals tied to NVIDIA Blackwell-class chip purchases, showing how allocation can pull workloads across borders. And Newsbites on February 16th. Google's Gemini Android app got a user interface refresh, cleaner titles, quicker sharing links, and improved Gemini Live multitasking.
That's the mix. OpenAI scoops up OpenClaw's creator while backing an open foundation. India turns compute into a national priority, and payments inch toward agents that can actually check out. If one theme ties it together, it's control. Who runs the agents, who runs the GPUs, and who authorizes the spend?
Yep. The next wave isn't just smarter models, it's systems that can act with real constraints and real audit trails.
If this helped you stay ahead, send it to a friend or coworker who lives in meetings and needs the headlines in human form. Thanks for listening to XPulse AI Morning Mix. I'm Iris, and we'll be back tomorrow.